I saw a red cow looking at me. I went walking, and what did you see? I saw a green duck looking at me. I went walking, and what did you see? Look, there's something over there, has mud all over it. I saw a pink pig looking at me. Here's our pig. I went walking, and what did you see? Oh, there's someone digging in the grass. I saw a yellow dog looking at me. I have a big yellow dog here that was just barking. There was someone outside he saw. There's our yellow dog. I went walking, and what did you see? I saw a lot of animals following me. Let's get our animals and put them away. We have a cat, a horse, a red cow, green duck, pink pig, and a yellow dog. All right, our last story today is a little bit longer. It's called Caps for Sale. This was a favorite by many of you in my class. Let's get our story out today, Caps for Sale. So in our story, we have a few characters in our story. We have a person, and he sells hats. And he sells hats by carrying them on top of his head. He balances them on top of his head. And in our story, there is a very, very big tree in our story. And he's going to walk around and try to sell hats. And they're called caps. Caps for Sale is the name of the story. Once there was a peddler who sold caps. He was not an ordinary peddler who carried his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First his own checked cap, and then a bunch of gray caps and brown caps and blue caps, and on the very top they were red caps. Here's the picture of our peddler. He walked up and down the street, holding himself very straight so not to upset the caps on his head. He went along and he called, "Caps for sale, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." Let's do that together, ready? Caps for sale, 50 cents a cap. He was selling his caps for 50 cents. One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street, calling, "Caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." But nobody wanted any caps that day. Nobody wanted even a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, and he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," said he, and he walked out of town slowly, slowly, as not to upset his caps. Here he is, walking out of town. There he is, walking, walking. He's going to go find a place to take a nap. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a nap," thought he. and he sat down very slowly. So he walked over to the tree and sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back a little against the tree trunk so not to disturb the caps on his head. Then he put his hand up to feel if his caps were all straight. First his own check caps and the red caps and the gray caps and the brown caps and the blue caps and the red caps up on top. They were all there. So he went to sleep and he slept for a long time. Let me show you him sleeping under the tree. There he is, sleeping under the tree, and he slept for a long time. He had a great nap. But when he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. Here he had a great nap under the tree, and he woke up and he's ready to go. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place, and all he felt was his own checked cap. Okay, he only had one cap on his head, and that was his cap. Then he looked up into the tree. I think I missed, oh, I'm sorry, he missed a page. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left, no caps. He looked in back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. Okay, he can't find his caps. He looked everywhere, no caps. Then he looked up into the tree. There he is, looking up in the tree. And what do you think he saw? Hang on, let me get this set up for you. I'm going to cover this up for a minute while I get this all set up so you can see what he saw in the tree. He saw something up in the tree. I wonder what he saw. He looked up in the tree, and on every branch sat a monkey, and on every monkey there was a cap. Brown caps, blue caps, red caps, checkered caps. Oh, all the monkeys had caps on. The peddler looked at the monkeys, and the monkey looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. He just wanted to get his caps back. Finally, he spoke to the monkeys. Here he is. He's looking at the monkeys. He doesn't know what to do. So he looked at the monkeys and he said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fingers back at him and said, "Tis, tis, 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 tis." Here he is, shaking his finger at the monkeys. Tis, tis, tis. By this time, now he felt very angry and he stamped his foot. "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, "Tis, tis, 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 tis." By this time, the peddler was really very, very angry. He stamped both of his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped both of their feet back at him and said, "Tis, tis, 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 tis." At last he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap and threw it on the ground and began to walk away. There he is. He didn't know what to do. He got very frustrated. And he threw his cap, he took his cap off his head and threw his cap onto the ground. But then each monkey pulled off their caps and threw their caps onto the ground. All the caps came out of the tree onto the ground. Here's the monkeys taking the caps off their head, and they followed just what he did. All the gray caps and the brown caps and the blue caps and the red caps came flying down out of the tree. All the caps are off the monkeys. So the peddler picked up his caps and put them back onto his head. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, and the brown caps, and the blue caps, and the red caps up on very top. Collected all his caps. And he slowly, he walked back to town, calling, "Caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." He went back to sell all his caps, walking down the street. If you saw a peddler walking down the street, what color cap would you buy? Would you buy a gray cap, a brown cap, a red cap, or a blue cap? Which one would you buy? That's a fun story, isn't it? All right, well, we'll leave that there, and we're going to do our goodbye song, and until I see you another day. It's time to say goodbye. It's time to say goodbye. I'll wave to you, you wave to me. It's time to say goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. We'll hum a tune and see you soon. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Bye-bye.